Welcome to the High Ticket Success Podcast, where premium coaches, consultants, and advisors come for bold strategies, big breakthroughs, and real results. I'm your host, Dave Dubeau.
Hey, boys and girls, welcome back. If you've been in business for a while, you've probably tried different things when it comes to lead generation. Maybe you're posting like a madman or a bad woman on social media, and maybe you're trying to be the next whiz on every single platform there is. You could have tried email marketing. You could have tried challenges. You could have tried summits. You could try articles. You could try paid ads, all sorts of different things. But as our guest today is going to tell us, if it's not aligned with who you are, if it doesn't align with your strengths, chances are you're going to fizzle out and fade. So our special guest is an old friend of mine. Cindy Holbrook has been in the marketing space for quite some time. And Cindy and I met years ago when I actually hired her to help me run, I believe, my first summit. She did a heck of a good job. And she's worked with tons and tons of very well-known people that you would recognize for sure. And these days, she helps us get aligned with our businesses. So Cindy, welcome to the show. Great to have you.
Oh, thank you, Dave. It's my pleasure being here.
Yeah. So we were talking a little bit offline, Cindy, about some of the challenges people have when it comes to finding alignment in their business, because we all have this fear of missing out. We have this fear that we're not doing what we should be doing. We see all these other cool kids doing this stuff that seems to be working so well for them. So we try it. Doesn't necessarily work well for us. What have you found about this? And why did you kind of decide to really focus on helping people with their alignment?
Because I believe that a lot of people are being disserviced because one size does not fit all. One strategy does not fit all. And it has been and always will be. As a lead coach of high-end programs, the owner of the program had written a script for a webinar. And every single time people would use his script, they would use his words. I would go, you cannot use his words and get his results because you're not him. And I find that so many people do this with their mentors. They join this group and they're like, wow, this dude is a 6, 7, or 8-figure earner. And if I do exactly what he does, how he does it, or how she does it, I'm going to have the same success. But they don't. And the main reasons they don't, number one, it's their mindset is not the same, but that's a whole nother program. And the second is because it's not aligned with them. If you're trying to do something that's not aligned with you and you're forcing yourself to do it, chances are you're not going to stay consistent. You're going to try, and if you do it, you're going to try to do it as fast as possible because you don't want to do it. And I don't know about you, but I did not go into business to create a miserable business for myself.
Well, I'm chuckling because I'm checking off in my mind all the time. So I've done stuff like that. And quite frankly, that whole, I mentioned it earlier, that whole summit thing was something we did. And it kind of worked, but it was an absolute freaking nightmare. I couldn't have done it without you. But hurting, I can't remember how many, 30 people, 30 speakers and all this, and all the bells and whistles and all this and follow. Absolute freaking nightmare, which is probably why I only did it once and didn't want to do it again. So you're absolutely right. I mean, some people just thrive on that. They love it. They do it quarterly and you see them all the time. Other people, yeah, you gotta, that's very sage advice, Cindy, is like, there is something that will work for you. It's a matter of finding it, making sure that it aligns with what you would enjoy doing long-term and that you feel more comfortable with. But on the other hand, somebody might say, well, okay, well, that's a good recipe for just staying stuck where you're at and not changing the status quo. So what's your take on that, Cindy?
Excuse me. Definitely not, because when you are doing something you love doing and you're more apt to be consistent with it, which people are going to get to know like and trust you.
Mm.
You know, people can know you, they can like you, they might even absolutely love you, but that doesn't mean that they trust you to solve their problems. They don't trust you to solve their problems. Excuse me. They don't trust you to solve their problems because a lot of times because there's something off and they can't put their finger on it. And a lot of times that's because you're trying to be something you're not. If I'm trying to be Dave and I'm
I'd
trying
help you.
to
Don't. Well,
if I'm trying to
some
be
people say there's
Dave,
one too many of me. But anyhow,
people can say the same thing about me. Yeah, it's not going to work. And a lot of times people are there. People are stuck. I've never seen people stuck, but rarely see people stuck, quote unquote, because of a strategy. Yes, sometimes the strategy needs tweaked, but they're stuck because of their mindset. Okay, I helped you do a summit and you had a lot of success with it, but your mindset was that of a success mindset. You was like, hey, I have Cindy helping me. I'm going to do everything she says. I'm going to, do it my way. I'm going to make these tweaks my way. And it's going to be a success. This is what I'm going to do. And you had a very successful outcome. I have had other people do the same exact thing with my guidance, the same way I guided you, that did make $100, that didn't get 100 people on their list. And you got a heck of a lot more from both of those. So that in itself shows, people think they're stuck because they need a new strategy. People are typically stuck because they need a new mindset. When I started coaching and I got my first coach, I thought, this is great. We'll be doing all this strategy stuff. For this first 6 months, all we did was work on my mindset because,
yeah.
and I didn't realize it at the time, but in my mindset wasn't even, let's say, it wasn't like I didn't believe I could succeed, but I was stuck in the past. I had not made peace with my mother's death. And I was so stuck in all this trauma that I couldn't even think of a success mindset. Wow. So she had to get me to make peace with my past before I could look forward to
the future,
a successful future. Yeah. And I did not see that. I see that now. And I have had a few clients that I've had to do the same with, because whenever you're on the outside, you can see what your clients need a lot more than what we can see.
Yeah.
And a lot of times what people do, like you said, the FOMO, fear of missing out. And that's why people are jumping from this strategy to that strategy to this strategy. And to be honest, mostly they never give it a chance to work. Yeah. Oh, this month, placing Facebook ads is the big thing, and they're seeing all these ads to place Facebook ads. So they buy the program, they do what the teacher tells them to do, but by the time the program's ending, they're not placing Facebook ads anymore. Now they see a program that says, hey, you have to do webinars. So now they're doing the webinar, they're creating that, they're doing that. And then by the time that program ends, now they see something saying, hey, you have to do a 5-day challenge. So now they're creating the 5-day challenge. So that's usually what keeps people stuck with the fear of missing out, is one of these strategies might be the best strategy for them, but they're not giving it time to brew.
So when you're working with your clients, Cindy, maybe without saying names, walk us through an example of one of your clients that was doing, banging their head against the wall with that kind of challenge, and how you helped them through it, and maybe what things look like on the other side for them.
The person came to my mind right away, which is first a little bit different. She wanted to build 1,000 followers in her Facebook group. And because to her, she thought if she had 1,000 followers, she could get clients. And she was a spiritual coach. And she took wonderful pictures of scenery. Mm-hmm. And people, every time she would post a picture that she took, she'd get a lot of engagement with it. And then periodically she would try to sell her spiritual stuff, and she's like, nobody's buying. Well, she was totally misaligned. People that like...
People are interested in pretty pictures, not spirituality. Right?
Exactly. And she's the one that totally came to my mind. A lot of times people try to be too general. I had a client, she was very general. I helped middle-aged woman. I mean, it was just so general. Okay. And so after working with me, we narrowed in that she worked with empty nesters to find a new purpose in life.
Much better. Yeah.
Okay. So then from that empty nesters, she hosted a giveaway, utilizing, her newfound niche, and had started a group program. And in her first group program, she had 16 people on it.
Nice. Yeah.
So
getting that alignment. Well,
yes.
In her case, that focus, which
it's
alignment.
It's clarity and it is alignment. Mm-hmm. If there's somebody else who he loves to write, he is a writer. Like there's 7 different paths to visibility, and some of us are better. One of them's going to be our strength.
So for those of us that never knew what they were or forgot what they were, do you remember what they were off the top of your head? The 7?
Oh, well, I can't remember all 7 of them right off the top. There's the speaker, there's a writer, there's the leader, there's the teacher, there's the connector, and I don't right offhand remember the other 2. But this is going to be a gift for everybody, so if they want to grab the gift, at the beginning of the gift, it asks you questions for you to determine what you are, and then gives you some tips with how to do it. Yeah. So even though all 7 types might do a video, they're going to do the video differently based on their path to visibility. A writer really comes... one of the ones that I forgot to say is what I am, a storyteller.
Okay, yeah.
Okay, and so as somebody who is a connector, a deep connector, who you like talking one-on-one with people, and this is your big strength, your big gift, if you try to go and tell stories the way I tell stories, you're not going to come up as authentic, and you're going to be scatterbrained, and you're not going to feel right. Mm-hmm. And vice versa. Well, I can connect with people one-on-one, but I'm still telling stories one-on-one, so I don't know.
Yeah.
My clients all laugh at me, and I go, and you'll never guess what I am. I'm a storyteller. No, yeah. So you even know me well enough. Yeah.
Yeah.
So, but it's, I can tell you, and it's funny, but I've been a storyteller my whole life. Mm-hmm. My brother, he's 12 years older than I am, but when I was 6 years old, so he was
18,
yep. He used to tell everybody, if Cindy seen a dog shit on the corner, everybody would know about it by the end of the day. So I've always been a storyteller. But
most 6-year-olds would like to tell us.
Anyways,
I get what you said.
Yeah, but I tell stories, and when I first started coaching, somebody told me not to tell stories. So for the first year that I coached, I tried not to tell stories, and I didn't do too well because
you probably weren't having any fun.
I was not having any fun. Because if I can't tell stories, because they just come to me, and it's literally how my mind makes sense of stuff is through telling stories. But
so just out of curiosity, how do you apply that storytelling for lead generation for your business?
Again, I share stories. I have a lot of stories.
But on social media or where you share your stories? Yeah,
I will share stories. A lot of my articles will have some sort of a story in it. Mm-hmm. Sometimes they're fables, sometimes they're made up, sometimes they're real stories of my life. Mm-hmm. A story I share often is I was a born entrepreneur. And whenever you're an entrepreneur, you have to be creative in order to look for solutions. When I was 10 years old, I used to like to go to Ford Park and play, but I didn't have money to buy ice cream or go swimming. And I was like, how can I make money so I can go swimming and buy my ice cream? And behind Ford Park was the Los Angeles riverbed. On the other side of the Los Angeles riverbed was a golf course. So the golf course, you could hear the golfers all the time yell and cuss whenever they would lose their golf balls inside the riverbed. So I thought, I can go crawl in the riverbed and collect golf balls and sell them back to the golfers. I did that for 3 years. It was a quite good little business for me to get money to spend at the park. Okay, so I had a problem. I found a solution, and I also helped the golfers because they got these nice, clean
Better golf ball that they came in with
for a lot less than if they would have had to go out and buy new ones.
Yeah. Okay. Well,
Okay, so I will share stories like that. Another story, and it relates. It's my number one opened email. He tried to sharpen his finger. True story.
yeah.
My grandson was about 7 years old. He was watching a cartoon where this guy had a pointy finger and was poking everyone. So David thought how fun it would be if he could poke everyone. So David put his finger in an electric pencil sharpener. It did not work out too well for him.
Oh.
And as I was talking to him on the phone, I said, David, sweetie, the next time you have a good idea, maybe you should ask your mom and dad if it really is a good idea. Just like as entrepreneurs, many of us are very, very creative, and we're constantly getting all these great ideas. But are they really great ideas? Or is it going to sharpen our finger the way we don't want it to sharpen our finger? So maybe we should take a step back and give it a day or two. Ask a few people if it really is a good idea before we jump on it.
Yeah, that makes sense, Cindy, for sure.
Okay, so that's how I utilize storytelling in my business.
So how do you typically help your clients figure out what lane they should be in or what they should be focusing on, when it comes to being aligned?
Well, a lot of it is the slow test helps a little bit in the 7 paths to visibility, but also intuitively, a lot of times I can see it's asking them questions, and it's knowing, because whenever you are really listening to somebody, like I have a lot of woo-woo clients, and I also have clients that are very, very, let's say logical, for lack of a better word. Let's say even religious. I have like one client, he's very religious. So I'm not going to tell my religious client the same thing I'm telling my woo-woo client, because they're not.
Some of us would say the religious client is a little woo-woo, but hey, that's a complete...
That's another story,
Yeah.
right? I was actually going to compare the woo-woo to you.
Exactly. Oh, but I get what you mean, right? You don't want to go in that.
And you have to, because if you have, just like you have the Enneagrams or the different types. My daughter, she teaches people about the energy of color, and there's 4 different elements. We're still trying to get my husband to be typed by her, but we believe he's an Earth, because Earths are very logical, and Earths have to see the whole picture, and Earths are list takers. And like my husband cannot start a day without a list. It was like his head would explode if he could not have his lists.
Right.
Don't give me a list, because my head is going to explode if you give me a list.
Right.
I get everything done, but I don't want no list.
Exactly. Yeah, well, that's very, very cool, Cindy. So as we're wrapping up, because time flies when we're having fun, tell us a little bit about, you got a free gift for folks. Tell us a little bit about what that is and how
that's the 7 Paths to Visibility. It's a guide. You can get it a gift from cindyj.com. And I think it's like 20 some odd pages, but it starts out with a little quiz for you to know what path. It's very normal for you to have 2 high scores. And it's very normal for you to even mark for all of them. And if you're tied, you just want to pick one that feels a little bit more aligned with you. And then for each path, it gives you some tips on how you can utilize that path for your visibility. Such as like writers, they really are all into words. Their words have to be just right.
Right.
And for connectors, they work really well with those one-on-one strategy calls because they work more better with one-on-one. So there's the different paths. And so go ahead and download it. And
what's the URL again?
Gift from CindyJ.com. GIFT from FROM Cindy CINDYJ.com.
Perfect. Cindy, thanks so much for being on the show. It's great reconnecting with you.
Okay, it was great connecting with you. You have a great day.
All right, everybody, take care, and we'll see you on the next one.
Thanks for listening to the High Ticket Success Podcast. Want to be featured? Share your story and inspire other premium coaches, consultants, and advisors? Apply now at highticketsuccesspodcast.com/guest.